Musicians in Our Time series, Garden Conversations, coming up with the guitarist Sean Sheebay. That's after we meet the musicians of the Innervision Orchestra.
Okay, if you insist to me to play oud, I'm going to play something called Johnny the Drunk or Drunk John. Right. Yeah. كان الزمان وكان في دكاني بالحي وبنيات وصبيان نيجي نلعب بالفي ويبقى حنا السكران قاعد حافل في حيطان غني وتحزن بنت الجيران لا 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 وعتنسيني وعتنسيني وتذكر لي حنا السكران. This is a very small taste.
Ziad Sinno playing oud for us there. Well, Innervision is the UK's only professional ensemble of blind musicians, and it's a joyously cross-cultural, stylistically boundless group led by the sitar player Balaji Srivastava. They have a new album out this autumn, and I spoke to some of the members about how the past few months have played out for them. This is Ziad with Kevin Satizabal and Victoria Oruwari.
With Innervision, I'm a singer, and I've learned so much from working with them. We've done a lot of improvised work, and I have been known to sing a Bollywood song. And I've also taught Innervision members some songs from Nigeria. It's very flexible and unique, the way we work.
Kevin, can you give us a sense of the ethos of the orchestra? What brings the members together?
Well, first of all, it's that pure joy of music, and also the fact that, well, as demonstrated in this call, I'm Colombian, Ziad is from Lebanon, Victoria's from Nigeria. It's a multicultural group. Obviously, it's led by Balaji and there's Indian music at its core, but the orchestra has this real sense of inclusiveness. People are from different cultures. They're also at different levels of music. And that means you can be playing alongside musicians that are better than you, that are really, really great. And I think it just inspires everybody. And I particularly felt that when I did the Antadrishti project and I went to India and played with some incredible musicians out there.
And in my view, when we all are together with Innervision Orchestra from different parts of the world, different cultures, different musical level, when it's all mixed, it really gives the listener a unique blend.
Yeah, I want to hear a bit more about the cultural mix that you have in the orchestra, but also the aspect of the orchestra which is about the members of the orchestra being blind. And I wonder what that does for the way that you make music together.
All of us being visually impaired, we have to rely on each other and the musical cues that we all give. And I think it's a really shining example of how great people are at listening to one another. So we rely on listening to what each other's doing. We will have to really engage with one another and get to know one another.
I wonder what being blind has done for your experience of the pandemic and for the experience of being locked down. Victoria, can you give me your perspective?
In a way, it kind of gave the world a bit of a taster of what blind people experience on a daily basis. One thing we have is freedom of will, but I think in reality, obstacles always get in the way of that freedom of will that we have. And we're constantly being innovative, thinking of ways in which we can get around those obstacles. So the obstacle that the lockdown brought to us is movement and choice, because you can't just get up and go anywhere. You're worried that people will approach you and try to help, which is the one thing you don't need them to do right now. And then the mask hinders our independence because we can't, well, I feel that I can't hear that well when I wear the mask, because it just dawned on me that I must be using my face as part of my orientation. I don't know, there's something about the way you feel your environment as you're walking, and the mask sort of dulls that and makes me walk a little slower. Yeah.
I'm also interested in how these new challenges have played out musically, both in the way that you're hearing music and in the way that they're making music. During the last few months, have you been able to make music together?
So the Innervision Orchestra has been able to get together in smaller groups, but we haven't been able to get together as kind of a big group. And actually, I think that's going to be one of the biggest challenges, is if you're socially distancing. It's going to be harder to rely on those cues that I was talking about. You know, we rely on listening to each other, and particularly people's breath to cue us in so that we can all come in at the same time. So maybe there might have to be some sort of technological solution that we're all mic'd up so we could hear each other a little bit better to be able to make music together.
Well, the founder of the orchestra is Baloji Shrivastava, sitar player to the stars. He's recorded with bands from Massive Attack to Madness, and he's worked for years with Stevie Wonder. Here is Baloji on the essential connection between the musicians of Innervision.
In my view, everybody is musician. Whether you play music or you don't play music, since you are born, you are a musician. Innervision Orchestra started in 2008. We had to find some blind musicians, and luckily now we have got 18, 19 musicians who are permanent. Any blind person who is interested in music can come and join our workshop. Now Corona has come, we are doing online work quite a lot.
Can you tell me why it was important for you to bring together blind musicians?
It is very important for us because the blind people in general, not only in music, have got very little employment, maybe 10% of the whole thing. So we have to work together, and especially musicians are not employed because they are blind. Unfortunately, that is the case. In my case, it was different because I am a sitar player, which is not easy to find. And so I was very lucky to play with so many great musicians. I played with Annie Lennox, Boy George, Jazzy B, Soul to Soul.
Obviously, you've played in a huge number of different contexts and different collaborators.
Stevie Wonder, I shouldn't forget Stevie Wonder.
Never forget Stevie Wonder. Is there something special? Is there a particular connection that happens between musicians who are blind when they're playing together?
Yes, we see through our heart and we link each other. And there are some obvious cues as well. We feel each other, and when someone next is supposed to play, they will understand. We don't need to see. Actually, for me, music is not to be seen. Music is to be heard.
When you're talking about obvious cues, what do you mean by that?
I start one thing slowly, and then they understand, they listen, and then they join me. And once the piece is fixed, then it's much easier because it's my turn. And Indian music is mostly improvised music anyway. So we just improvise, and if someone starts playing in the middle, I stop playing. Music is conversation, music is communication, music is everything.
Baloji Shrivastava, and that is music from the new Innervisions album. It's called Baloji Shrivastava, New Classics, and it is out this month.